And of course, try not to cry because we're Saxons and
We don't cry.
you know, we don't cry.
doesn't have that. British doesn't have that button.
No, no. When Shlomo texted me to come and to invite me and Isaac and I, and at the end he put in, if you'd like to speak, feel free. And I was like, really? I'm like, okay. And then I got nervous because I'm like, what am I going to speak about exactly? Like, where do I start and where do I end? But the truth of the matter is that when we think of Uncle Leon, it's not hard for us. It's not hard for me to remember who he was. It's hard for me to forget who he was. Sorry. You know I should have written something down. Okay, as long as I
You're not alone.
And what's so interesting is that for our second cousins, you know, you didn't get to know your Zadie, but when your Zadie was Nifter, I was years old, and I wasn't exactly an adult, but I was a young girl, and my memories are very solid of who he was. And that's part of why I wanted to speak, because I felt like I could share with you some of the memories that we had when we were little. Okay, nobody's taping this, right?
No. Go on tonight.
You're the only one.
Oh yeah, I didn't even bring a camera tonight. Usually I do. But one of the first things I think about when I think of Uncle Leon was how he looked and how he appeared. And it was such an interesting appearance because of the mustache and his velour tracksuits that he liked to wear a lot. And he had a toothpick in his mouth. And he just had a certain presence that you couldn't help but feel when he walked into a room. And that was undeniable. And you always felt a certain way when he walked in the room because he lent the room an energy and a certain presence that you couldn't forget. When we were little, we were very lucky to have Cousin Raffaele be in our immediate age bracket, and of course she needed some company. So me and my sisters, Zahava and Adina, we were always corralled to go and spend Shabbos with our cousins in Far Rockaway. And we weren't ever called babysitters because that wouldn't have really rubbed us the right way. So we were just going to keep her company and entertain her and help Tante Sarah get through the Shabbos. But when I speak for myself, I'm speaking for all of us. Shabbos at the house was always exciting because we also had our older cousins there. We always knew that Basalel was going to play Kogelach with us, and Hindi was going to play Petunia with us, and Shlomo was letting us into his private bathroom, and he had all sorts of interesting reading material in there. And these were our cool older cousins at the time, who we looked up to in all sorts of ways. But Shabbos was always made interesting. I could hear Uncle Leon echoing throughout the house, "Uchul, uchul," and calling for Tante Sarah, and always Sarah, and always being so generous to me and my sisters, and always being so open and welcoming to us. We were also lucky enough to spend time with Tante Sarah and Uncle Leon on many Shabbosim that we were taken to Grossinger's with them, and or Atlantic City sometimes. We had the opportunity to spend Shabbosim with them, or a couple of days here and there, and we were always given free reign of the place, and they took very good care of us. My mother reminded me of a story that I I don't remember, but it gives you a different level of insight also to Uncle Leon, because although he didn't seem necessarily like the most coochie-coo or cozy type of guy, there was a story my mother related to me that when Adina was about 2 years old, it was shortly after Racheli was born, and Uncle Leon had come over to our house in Brooklyn, and on East 7th Street, the first house we lived in, second house after my parents were married. And Uncle Leon came into the house, and he sat down on the couch, and little 2-year-old Adina, on her own merits, and this is quite like Adina, quite unlike Adina, you know her today, she somehow scurried over to Uncle Leon and climbed on his lap and started to nuzzle on him. And my mother was quite shocked by her behavior, and I think Uncle Leon was quite as shocked as well. But he embraced her and played with her, and as unexpected as it was to both Uncle Leon and probably to my mother, Adina felt the closeness, at least, to jump into her uncle's lap and feel comfortable doing so and getting a hug. Our childhood is filled with memories relating to all of our cousins, and we were very close. Kanai your families have grown so big. Your children aren't quite as aware about how much time you spent with your family when we were younger. When I was in college, I had the opportunity to work on the exchange with Shlomo, Bezalel, and he brings us with their presents as well. And I remember thinking how, and of course Uncle Izzy also was there, which I really loved, walking in, and it helped also when I was in the office to have Uncle Leon really ruminate in the office, because Izzy was there, and Izzy always took time to talk to me, and through him, you could feel Uncle Leon as well. And I just remember, like the way Leon said, and about being on the floor, how everybody was talking about Leon. I had the same situation when I was there. And I remember when I took Isaac to your house, Naomi and Shlomo, and I got to show him the picture of the exchange on the wall and point out who Uncle Leon was. Isaac can understand why he's such a big part of our lives. She thinks she's on the exchange. She wants me to make So I hope that through my speaking tonight, I hope that I was able to give you a little bit of storytelling and some real life experiences that we had with Uncle Leon and with our cousins. And you should know that we might not talk about it